Watch the flow of my movements as I demonstrate.
Hello everyone, this is a video that I was going to put up a while ago and I never did, so I'm sorry about that. But I have here a new Rosalina and Luma desync called the Bonk Desync, which I discovered in around the middle of May, and when I first did it, I thought it was neat but also completely useless. So I didn't really touch it again until about a month later. I was in training mode, fooling around with it, and I actually found some applications that make it a lot more usable. So, just so we're all clear on the terminology, a desync is whenever Rosalina and Luma are in a position where they will behave differently. So normally this is when Rosalina is incapacitated in some form. So you can see right here, Luma can still attack, Rosalina is stuck and buried. And that's also how you get these rapid jabs that only Luma does. It's because you're doing them in times when only Luma can act. And then another common one is, I'm sure you've seen the videos on the internet where Rosalina has a broken shield and you go to hit her, but then Luma can still act, so Luma hits you, and then everyone's like, oh, what's that? It's so stupid. So that's what it is. It's Luma's desynced. So I have a new desync here, and that is the Bonk Desync. Now you may ask yourself, what is a bonk? And I will show you. That. That is a bonk. Hitting your head on the underside of a stage. So when you do it, you can see Rosalina, kind of recoils. She's, her head gets displaced and it looks very painful. And when you're in that state, you can actually do aerials with just Luma. And Rosalina is still recovering from her thing. So you can do, whatever you want, and that's what it is. And I'm sure you may ask yourself, Fallen, why are you making this video? Like, yeah, it looks cool, but it also, as you said, looks entirely useless. And there are some applications for it that make it a lot more usable. I have 3, and each one is more relevant than the one before it. So just hold tight, and I will show you. So, application number 1. There are times when Rosalina will get hit off stage, and Luma will remain on stage, normally because she didn't get hit. And when Rosalina is recovering, you can get in positions where Luma is still lurking around on stage like this. And when you're in this position, you can shark with Luma and recover. And this is faster than just doing a regular double up air with Rosalina because there's a lot of end lag on Rosalina's up air. But when you are bonking, you're shaving some frames. So you don't actually have to complete the up air to get whatever move you want. And the reason that is important is because if you're recovering as Rosa and you go for the double jump up air like this to shark someone, if you miss or they shield the up air, you have basically telegraphed when you're recovering because you're out of angles and you don't really have a whole lot of mix-ups left. And so good players, when this happens, they'll just 2-frame you and you'll die because there isn't really another place you can go. So this helps you shave some frames off. You can recover faster, and that's application number 1. Application number 2 takes the same idea but makes the recovery a little bit safer. So something people say is Rosalina has no hitbox on her up B, so this is when she is the most vulnerable. And don't do that. This is when you could press your advantage against Rosalina. But if you take the same idea and combine it with a nair, you get a hitbox out while your up B is actually active. So even if they shield, I didn't do it there. Even if they shield the nair, you're still recovering. Now the nair is kind of tricky when you combine it with the up B because you can see Luma kind of blasts off into space, and that's based off of how close Rosalina is to Luma when you do the up B, and also the trajectory of the up B itself. So ideally, you want to wait a little bit before doing it so the nair actually hits down below, or you can do a more horizontal up B, but that can be hard to get to the edge depending on what stage you're doing it on. So that's application number 2. You want a hitbox during your up B, there it is. So the third application is where things start to get wild. If you detether Luma, which is done by doing Luma shot, Luma starts to play by a new set of rules. And when you have Luma like this, detethered, and you desync her, you start getting her grounded attacks. So you saw down tilt, you saw forward tilt, I could do up tilt, but most importantly is you can do jab. And this is also something that everyone kind of knows intuitively, but it's worth bringing up. If you do jab and you keep pressing attack, it doesn't really matter what direction you're holding on the control stick or what else you're doing. The game reads it as jab. And the reason that's important in this case is because you can combine everything to set up a spin jab at the edge while recovering. So you can do this off of a bonk, and depending on where you have Luma set up, you can get a jab in different spots, and ideally you want it that would cover a regular getup. And if you've never been in this situation against a Rosalina, this is actually very, very obnoxious to deal with, because get up a jump, you lose, regular get up, you lose, get up attack, I don't actually know every get up attack, but I know most of them lose. So when you're in this position and the opponent has a Luma above you, your only options are to either try and roll past it, to try and go around it some other way, which not every character can do, or to let go from the edge and try and shark the Luma and then recover. But what separates this situation from where you've normally seen them, which is when Rosalina sets it up the old-fashioned way, is Rosalina is free to act right now. So if you roll past this and I'm standing right here, I can react and I can grab you, I can hit you. If you go around, same deal, you can stuff it out. If someone goes to shark and hit the Luma, it depends on the character, but more often than not, that's going to result in a regrab. So as Rosalina, you can get another hit. So really, no matter what happens, even if they can break the Luma, because you're free to act with Rosalina, this should be a win for you. And also, if they shark the Luma, most often the move will hit Luma back on stage, so you're really not losing anything. So this becomes a very powerful situation to set up when you can. Normally you can do it on people with slow recoveries. You'll generally want to already be playing detethered, because it can be kind of hard to be playing, shoot Luma, then go under, and then bonk, and then do whatever. But if you're playing detethered, it's all one smooth motion, and you're not even really committing a whole lot, because let's say you hit someone, you could pressure with a runoff down air, and then if they try and go around you, you can just fade back and set up a bonk, and then hit them with that. So, you pressure them, and then set it up anyway. And, you have a lot of freedom in what you want to do off of it. So that's basically it. It's pretty good. I've gotten kills with it before.
There's nothing else I could have done.
I like it a lot. There may be more applications to it, but from what I can tell, this is probably going to be the most useful out of all of them. Oh yeah, before I forget, the stages you can bonk on Town, Smashville, the left side of Battlefield. You can do Omegas that have a layout kind of similar to this one here. You can do Miiverse if Miiverse ever comes back. If you're a man, you can go for it on Dreamland. In tournament, I probably will not do that because I don't want to die. You can do it on Lilat while it's tilting. Again, you want to do it on Lilat in tournament, be my guest. And yeah, it's really just FD that you can't really do it on. You'd have to go all the way underneath FD to actually set up the bonk, and once you're down there, it's not going to come up practically. So if you liked this video, and if you like obscure Luma Tech, I'd be happy to make more of these. Just let me know either in the comments or hit me up on Twitter or somewhere else. Sometimes, you can get the feeling that people really, if you put up a Rosalina video or you put up something else, normally other characters do a little bit better than Rosalina, so that's why I'm gauging interest first. But I'm happy to do these if this is interesting. I just don't want it to be like, oh, Rosalina's so lame. So let me know. If you primarily followed me on YouTube and you've been wondering where I am, sorry, I haven't been putting up videos on YouTube. I do have a lot of clips on Twitter, so you can follow me on Twitter at STDXFallen. I'm a lot more active there. I do plan on moving a lot of the Twitter clips to YouTube at some point. I'm just not sure when I'll get around to it. And then also I'm starting up a stream on Twitch, so you could watch me on twitch.tv/fallnaway. I don't have a super consistent schedule or anything like that for Twitch yet, but everything's in the description. Feel free to follow me on any of those. Thank you for watching, and that will be it for this time.